Good morning, students. Today we will start the reproduction in plants. First of all, we need to discuss what do you mean by reproduction. Reproduction is the biological process in which an organism gives rise to young ones similar to itself. You can see a cat gives birth to kittens. A dog gives birth to puppy. So you can see every organism reproduces its offspring. Now the question is, what is the mean of reproduction in plants? First of all, have a look on the structure of flower. Structure of flower. We will draw the structure of flower here. This is the gynoecium. It is located on the top of the thalamus. You can see this is the group of stamens and its whole is known as androecium. These are the colorful structures found in the flower, and these are the petals, and these are the green colored structures, and these are the calyx. This is pedicel. This swollen structure is known as thalamus, and in the structure of angiosperm flower, outermost whorl is known as calyx. In most of the plants, calyx is green in color, and the second whorl that is located just above the calyx is known as corolla. And corolla are, in most of the plants, it is colorful. You can see it is yellow colored in mustard, red colored in hibiscus, and the inner whorl is androecium. This is basically group of stamens. It shows the male reproductive organ in the flower, and in the center of the flower, that is the gynoecium. So you can see this is the typical structure of flower. Now for more details we will study its structure. So students, this is the colorful structure of the flower. You can see this pointed part is pedicel. It holds the flower on the branch of the plant, and its swollen structure you can see at the point. This is thalamus, where different parts of flower are located, and these green colored structure you can see these are the calyx. Calyx protects the flower from different external factors, and these colorful structures this one, and this one, these are the corolla of the flower. Corolla are colorful in structure: red, green, yellow, purple, black, white. It depends on the type of species. And these corolla attracts the insects for pollination, and it helps in the fertilization. So you can see these are the different type of colorful corolla here, and these yellow colored structures you can see at the point 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. There are 5 stamens present in this flower, and basically these are the male reproductive organs of the flower. And in the center part of the flower at this point you can see this is the female reproductive organ and known as gynoecium. First of all, have a look on the structure of stamen. This is the structure of the stamen, in which this is thread-like structure and it is known as filament. And again you can see in the top of the filament, these are the two structures here and known as anther. And anther lobes can be further explained here. If we cut a transverse section of the stamen, then you can see the structure. These two are the pollen sacs, and this is the another two pollen sacs. So you can see overall there are 2 plus 2, 4 pollen sacs are found in the stamen, and it is filled with pollen grains. Next please. Now we will discuss about the structure of microsporangium. So you can see microsporangium is the spherical part or cylindrical part found in the pollen sacs, and the structure which is seen here is known as microsporangium. And microsporangium is surrounded by 4 wall layers, and these layers protect the sporangium. Outermost layer is known as epidermis. This is the outermost layer, epidermis, and in most of the plants this is made of single layer. In the inner part of the epidermis, this is endothecium. Endothecium, generally it is also made of single layer of the cells, and it has alpha cellulose in its cell wall, and it has in the dehiscence of the microsporangium and pollen sac. And another part, which is the third one, it is known as middle layer. More in number, you can see it may be in 2, 3 or 4 layers of the cells, and the innermost, and which is the most important part of the stamen, and it is known as tapetum. And tapetum plays vital role in the nourishment of pollen grains. So you can see the innermost layer is the tapetum, which is multinucleated with dense cytoplasm. It nourishes the developing pollen grains. So dear students, you can see this is the tapetum. It plays important role in the development of the pollen grains, and it has different types of nutrients. The centers of each microsporangium contains a specific tissue which is known as homogeneous cells, and it is, you can say, sporogenous tissue. It will participate in the microsporogenesis. Now have a look. This is the figure number 2.3 of your book, and we can say this is the transverse section of the stamen. Here you can see these 1, 2, 3 and 4. There are 4 microsporangia present in this structure, and this one is basically connective tissue. So you can see this is the transverse section of the stamen here, and now you can see this is the structure of single sporangium. These are the different layers. We have already discussed about this. This is outermost layer, which is known as epidermis. This is endothecium, and another inner layers which may be in the more in number, 2 or 3 or 4 layers. These are known as middle layers, and this is the important part, which is this one. It is known as porogenous tissue, and this porogenous tissue will further convert into microspore mother cell, and which will develop the microspores, and different types of changes will convert into pollen grains. And this one, tapetum. This is the innermost layer of the microsporangium, very important, and it provides nourishment to the developing pollen grains. Now you can see these are the pollen grains, dot-like structures, and these are millions in number, and it plays just like the male gamete role. Next, please. Now the microsporogenesis. The process of formation of microspores from pollen mother cell through meiosis is called microsporogenesis. You can see microsporogenesis can be carried out with the help of sporogenous tissue. The sporogenous tissue of microsporangium differentiated into microspore mother cell, or you can see the another name of this is pollen mother cell. And each microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis. Meiosis is a special type of cell division in which number of chromosomes are reduced to half and give rise to haploid microspore tetrad. There is a specific word here, you can see tetrad. Tetrad means 4 in number. You have already studied in class 11th about the meiosis, in which one parental cell give rise 4 cells, and group of 4 microspores is known as tetrad. And you can see on the dehydration of microspore, tetrad dissociates to form 4 microspores, and each microspore develop into a pollen grain. So you can see pollen grain is the male gametophyte. So students, the outline diagram of the microsporogenesis can be seen here. This is the pollen mother cell. Initially, it receives nutrition and undergoes meiosis. First of all, this is pollen mother cell. This is diploid, and in the very first stage, this is meiosis first, and it is divided in 2 cells here, and again these cells will undergo the meiosis second, and it will form 4 haploid cells, and these haploid cells are grouped, and the group of 4 cell is known as tetrad. It is attached by a specific biochemical that is known as callose. You can see 3 cells here, and 1 cell is just behind the structure. So you can see tetrad is a group of 4 microspores. So formation of pollen grains. Initially, we have discussed about the tetrad. This is the group of 4 microspores attached with the help of callose and pectin. So students, as it will dehydrate and callase enzyme will work here, and this group of 4 cells will be separated with the help of these enzymes, and these are the 4 microspores. These microspores will enlarge in size and convert into pollen grain, which is basically male gametophyte of the angiosperm. So this is the process here, formation of pollen grain. Now we will study the structure of pollen grain. So structure of pollen grain. Pollen grain is male gametophyte and its structure is just like this. Just draw a circle here. This is intine and this is exine. Exine is hard and irregular. So you can see the outer cover of the pollen grain is exine, while inner layer of the pollen grain is intine. Exine is made of sporopollenin, which is highly resistant to temperature, humidity, acid and alkalis, while the inner layer of the pollen grain is made of pectocellulose, means cellulose plus pectin. It contains an irregular shape structure. This is vegetative cell, while there is a lens-like nucleus. This is known as generative cell. Basically, generative cell, or you can say its nucleus is suspended in the irregular vegetative cell. So this is basically a simple structure of the pollen grain, typical structure of the pollen grain. So students, this is the important description of pollen grain. Pollen grains represent the male gametophyte, and generally these are spherical in structure, and it measures 25 to 50 micrometers in the diameter. Although pollen grains may be of different types, different structures, and there is a great diversity in the morphological structure. Have a look here. You can see this is the wheat grain like structure, this is the pea like structure, and these are the different structures. It is given in the figure number 2.4 here, and it is taxonomically very important, and it can be explained by its structure. Now In a general pollen grain, it is covered by two layers, and outer layer is exine and the inner layer is intine. The exine is outer layer which is very hard, and it is made of sporopollenin, which is one of the most resistant organic material known. It can withstand high temperature, strong acids, alkali, and no enzyme can degrade sporopollenin. It's so far known. So dear students, sporopollenin is a very tough structure, and it helps in the formation of fossils of pollen grains. And exine has prominent apertures called germ pore, where sporopollenin is absent. So when you will study the pollen grain, the part where sporopollenin is absent, there will be a small pore-like structure, and it is known as germ pore. And the inner layer of the pollen grain is known as intine. This is thin and continuous layer made of cellulose and pectin. So you can clearly see here, pollen grain is surrounded by two layers, outer exine and inner intine. And generally on the maturity of the pollen grain contains two cells, the vegetative cell and generative cell. Generally the vegetative cell is a single cell and it has asymmetric structure, while the generative cell, this is lens-like cell, and when we differentiate each other, then you can see the vegetative cell is bigger, it has abundant food reserve and a large irregularly shaped nucleus. Its nucleus is irregular, and the second cell is generative cell. It is small and it floats in the cytoplasm of vegetative cell. So you can see generative cell is floating in the cytoplasm of the vegetative cell. And if we discuss, in 60% of the angiosperm plants, pollen grains are shed at the two cell stage, while in the rest of the 40% angiosperm plants, pollen grains has three cell stage structure in this. So this is the pollen grain. As far as pollen grain is concerned, it has large number of economic importances, and economic importance of the pollen grain are described here. First of all, pollen grain may cause severe allergies and bronchial applications. You can see it causes the allergy in human beings and respiratory disorders like asthma and bronchitis. The main allergy causing pollen grain is of Parthenium. The another well-known name of the Parthenium is carrot grass or Congress grass. And pollen grains are rich in nutrients also, and it is used as pollen tablets for food supplements. Pollen consumptions increase the performance of athletes and race horses. So in the Western countries, it is used as a food supplement, and after shedding, the viability depends on the temperature and humidity. If we will compare the pollen grain of different species, it will show the viability variation. It is affected by temperature and humidity. In the wheat and rice plants, the pollen grain lose viability within 30 minutes of their release. So, if pollen grain reaches stamen to stigma within 30 minutes, then it will be viable, otherwise it will be destroyed. In the Rosaceae, Leguminosae and Solanaceae, they remain viable for months. And pollen grain can be preserved for years in a liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees centigrade, and this procedure is known as cryopreservation. And in most of the laboratories, pollen bank is also established for the further plant breeding experiments. There is a figure 2.6 in your book. You can see the pollen products. Different types of tablets, syrups, creams are available in the market, and a well-known example of this is bee pollen from England. It contains 30 tablets, and this is basically natural pollen and used by athletes and the race horses. So this is the end of the today's topic, and we will see you in the next class very soon. Thank you.